Hi everyone, Scott Blackhurst here. BVFF has honored me for 2023 to have my fly on their pin, and they asked me to tie the fly for you today. So here is the Stimulator. Start with the tan thread, take that down towards the back of the hook, and then I'm going to tie in a little bit of flash for the tail. And then go ahead and tie in the rib right now. And then continue down the hook to just before the bend of the hook, and then I just take that and clean up the top there. And I'm going to add some light Cahill dubbing. Try to get this noodle as thin as possible. Now, this is not my original pattern. I came up with this because I did not have the right stimulator materials at the time. And I think the materials I'm using work really well. Now I'm going to take the rib, I'm going to wind up that thread, and then I'm going to counter wrap the body. Try to keep in your segments as even as possible. And tie that off. Cut it. And then tie in the underwing, which is the same material as your tail. And I just tie it in to be about half the length of the tail. Tie it in a little loosely and kind of come forward a little bit, and then fold it back, and then wind back down to where your body ends at the thorax. Then the wing is going to be the alpaca wool. And I just chose this because I didn't have any of the right materials at the time. But later I found out that alpaca wool is waterproof. So that really helps with the flotation of this fly. And you don't have to dress it with floating as often. Try to cut it at a slight angle so you don't have a big lump there. And then I come back over and tie that in really well. And I build up the front there where you had the step down and even that up a little bit. And then we'll finish this tan thread off and cut it off because we are done with it now. Now if this wing spreads out a little bit on you, that's okay. Because I notice with the real flies, when they land and get into the water, their wings spread out quite a bit. Dress our fire orange thread on. And then I just make sure that I build the front of that fly up a little bit to try to make that thorax area as even as you can, because that'll just help you tie the materials in. Got a little wrap in my thread here on the bobbin, so fix that real quick. Come in and then take the brown hackle. I like to bring some of those lower fibers off the stem, so when you do that initial wrap you don't have fibers wound down on themselves. And then I advance the thread to the center of the thorax and then try to get, and I don't think it really matters on if your hackle is facing forward or backwards. I like mine going backwards, so I just fix that and do about 3 wraps will get you to the center of your thorax area. Then I just leave that, and then I come in with my rubber legs. And I take the full length and cut it in half, and then cut it in half again, and you'll end up with 8 leg segments. So I tie them in double, and I usually tie on my side first. And if that hackle slips like it did on me, that's okay. We'll just wind around it anyway and get the legs tied in. Had one fall. Then we'll take the legs and turn them to the other side. Get a couple of wraps on them, and then lift everything here in front and advance the thread forward to the behind the eye. And I take that hackle and do at least 1 wrap where you tied the legs in, and then pull those legs up in front and advance the hackle forward. So some people will tie in the legs first and then wrap the hackle forward. I just find it's hard to wrap the feather around the rubber, so I just do it the way I did here, and that seems to be easier for me. I just take that final wrap and then do a half hitch tie-in just so your thread doesn't fall off. And then what I've done is I've taken a little water tube and cut it down and then put a slice in it so I can get it onto the thread. And push that up and push everything back, and that exposes your head here where you can do your whip finish without tying all hair fibers down or whatever you've got up front there by the eye of the hook. And it takes some wraps to kind of build that head up, and then finally I do three whip finishes, and then I don't have to use any glue or anything on the head. Get that thread off. The legs, and then you can manipulate those how you want. Then I'll take my front legs and put them all together in a bunch. And cut them so they're all fairly even. The back legs I usually leave about as long as the wing. And that is a quick and dirty Stimulator. Thanks for watching, guys. And if you want to see more, come see us during the fly fishing show in January. Thanks.